Hi everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode in our WWE 2K16 Universe Mode for the Attitude Era. Now, I will say there's no Universe Mode footage in this video. This is just going to be the Intercontinental Championship Tournament that will crown our first champion for the Universe Mode. So, as you can see, the brackets, we've got Chris Jericho taking on Christian, Diamond Dallas Page taking on the British Bulldog, William Regal taking on Faarooq, and Eddie Guerrero taking on Rob Van Dam. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first of our matches. And like I said, here is our first match. It's going to be Chris Jericho taking on Christian. And here we go. Now, like I've said in a few of my videos, I am going to skip all the entrances for the weekly shows. We are going to have all the entrances on during pay-per-views just to make it a bit more special. And of course, we'll have entrances for things like title matches and bits and bobs like that as well. But like I say, for now, just to speed these episodes up, we are going to skip all the entrances. Of course, another part of this video to let you know is that damage retention is on. So essentially any damage done in this match to the winner is going to carry on the whole way through this tournament. So both these guys will be itching to get through this as unscathed as possible, really. You don't want to take too much damage into the second round because you know the winner of DDP and the British Bulldog will probably pick you off pretty easily. Now, one thing I forgot to say earlier on is, before we get through this match, of course, why don't we have a quick jot down to the comment section below and have a guess who you think is going to win this tournament. I am going to go for Jericho. I'm going to go out there for this very first match and say Chris Jericho to win the entire competition. He is a legend of this Intercontinental Championship. He was the guy who held the belt for a very long time in the Attitude Era, so that's what I'm going for. I'm going for Jericho. Why don't you guys nip down and have a quick guess below as well? I know William seems to be getting quite a lot right recently. I don't know, I've got one correct so far across all the tournaments I've done, but William seems to have got quite a few correct. I don't know how he's doing it, I really don't. It just shows on this game that stats don't mean anything, and it does really mean that the damage retention does have a huge impact on these people this evening, because, like I say, I generally go for probably some of the highest stats guys in the competition, and generally they end up losing pretty early on. Christian now has Jericho up and dropped him in a front Falcon Arrow. Very aggressive move. And I have got the momentum up on high again. It doesn't seem to make a lot of difference on this game. I know on 2K15, if you put the momentum on high, it generally finished the match within sort of like 30-40 seconds. But now, even with the momentum on high, sometimes the matches still go in excess of 10. Even one case in a few videos earlier on, they went to 15 minutes. So it's absolutely insane. But yeah, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a good tournament, this one. We've got some interesting people in there. Of course, we've got Faarooq as part of the Nation of Domination. We've got Eddie Guerrero and RVD, both going to be important parts of our Universe Mode. Eddie Guerrero is also going to be involved in the Cruiserweight Championship division. RVD involved in the Hardcore Championship. We've got Regal and Bulldog. They're going to be both involved in the European Championship title, which is probably the next tournament I'll upload after this one. Christian, of course, will be part of the Tag Team division alongside his... Is Edge his brother? I've never actually... Yeah, I'm sure Edge is his brother, isn't he? Or is it just, they're just friends? I don't know. Christian with the Christian gets hit with the Lion Salt by Jericho, and Jericho nearly gets through to the second round incredibly quickly. And if he'd done that, I think he would have had a fantastic chance to go the whole way in this competition. Like I said, with damage retention, it's not only damage retention, but it's also your stamina as well. So the quicker you get through these matches, of course, the winner of this tournament will have to win 3 matches this evening. So the quicker you can get through them, the better you're going to be for the next match, really. But yeah, there are some wild cards in this competition, I must admit. Some of the other guys that will be involved in this sort of division will be... I was going to put Goldust in, I completely forgot about Goldust. Goldust will be part of the European Championship, I think. Yeah, some of the other guys that will be involved is, like I say, Goldust. You'll have Scott Hall when we finally get him. Yeah, there'll be Kane and people like that as well. I'm still tempted to download Benoit. I don't know if any of you guys would be against me having Benoit in this Universe Mode. For whatever he did outside the ring, he's just an absolutely incredible wrestler inside the ring. So I don't know what you guys think, whether we should have Benoit or not. But like I say, he was a fantastic wrestler, and we probably could have some great matches with him. But like I say, I know a few people don't. A few people like to forget about him because of what happened in the past. Jericho slamming Christian's face into the mat now, bringing him back up to the ground and to his feet, and sends him back into the ring. And it's a big boot to the side of the head, and Jericho is really dominating this match over Christian here. And I'm thinking we can probably have Christian, Jericho and Edge as not so much a team, but maybe as a sort of like a friendship, should we say, as allies. I think they always have been across the WWE, across all the years. They've always seemed to be on the same sort of side. I think they're all Canadian, so maybe we can have our own. Maybe we can have an Attitude Era Team Canada of Edge, Christian, and Jericho. That could work. Jericho rolling Christian over. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Christian kicks out, and Jericho not quite sure what he's going to need to do. He's already caught Christian with the lion salt, and now he's locked him into the walls of Jericho as well. And Christian, showing his resilience, he's still in this one. There's the reverse DDT. Pulling Jericho into the middle of the ring. Going to go for a pin here. 1, 2. It's only a 2 count. Jericho kicks out. Christian, hands on hips. He cannot believe what he's going through here. Jericho now taking Christian up. And there's a powerbomb, and now Jericho bringing Christian back up again for the second powerbomb. And there's a trio of powerbombs by Chris Jericho. You see him drop to a knee. It took a lot out of him, that. And now into the pin he goes. 1, 2, and... No, come on, ref. Your hand hit the mat 3 times and we all saw it. But he's claiming it was a 2. Jericho stalking Christian. He gets back up to his feet. And Jericho just dominating this match and looks to lock in another Walls of Jericho. And he does. Walls of Jericho locked in on Christian. We've not seen many submission victories in these tournaments as of yet. I think it's fairly difficult to get an AI versus AI submission victory by the looks of it. And this is no difference. I think the submission victories I have seen are in late in the tournament after somebody's body has been absolutely decimated. Christian with a punch to the stomach there on Jericho. Now spinning Jericho around. Oh, he's looking for an Umbritia. He hits the Umbritia, and maybe my favourite of this tournament could get knocked out very early on. Referee down. And it is. Oh my word, after all the damage Jericho did to Christian in this tournament, and Christian has knocked Jericho out. I'm sure no matter who I pick, I just seem to curse them in these competitions. I really do. Jericho is my favourite to win the whole thing. And Christian has just... out of nowhere. Of course, Christian was hit by an Umbritia and 2 Walls of Jericho. No, sorry, Christian was hit by a Lion Salt and 2 Walls of Jericho. There's the first of the 2. And the triple powerbomb as well. He was on the verge of a 3 count, Jericho. I'm sure the referee's hand hit the mat 3 times. I'm sure we might see a bit more of that as we hit into our universe mode. I thought Jericho had won it here. Let's see if it shows it to the referee. 1, 2. Oh, come on, ref. Your hand hit the mat 3 times before Christian kicked out there. I'm sure it did. Jericho gets caught with the Umbritia, and Christian keeps him down for the 3 count. So straight away we've had a big surprise victory in this tournament. Christian knocking out Chris Jericho, and Christian's going on to our semi-finals to become our first Intercontinental champion. Of course, he will face off against the winner of our next match, but the other 6 guys in this tournament now must be rubbing their hands together, because not only has one of the favourites been knocked out, but the guy that knocked him out has taken a huge amount of damage. And I can't see Christian going too much further, really. And here we go with our second first round match. Of course, the winner of this one, we're going to face Christian. This is Diamond Dallas Page versus the British Bulldog. And here we go. Who will it be who goes on to face Christian? And at this rate, I think Christian might be in a pretty easy condition to take out here, you know. As I think this is the first time we're using DDP this year, and I must admit the first thing I noticed is that his hair's a lot more fluid. I like that. I think that makes it look a lot more realistic. His hair's moving around like it probably should do, whereas last year it was almost just like a solid entity on the top of his head. As both these guys go for a bit of chain wrestling. And one difference I have done from last year is we did have the tag team of Bam Bam Bigelow and Diamond Dallas Page as the Jersey Triad. Now what I've done is I've sort of changed that slightly. I'm going to send DDP as a singles wrestler because I wanted to be more involved in this Intercontinental Championship picture, and maybe even the World Heavyweight Championship at some point as well. And also that means that we've actually sent Bam Bam Bigelow along with, I think it's Shane Douglas and Just Incredible as the triple threat, which was the, I think Jay said the triple threat was the sort of team before the Jersey Triad. It sort of evolved into Jersey Triad. So we've done that just because I want to have DDP as more of a singles competitor this year. It also means that we can keep we've almost got like a hardcore division trio there of Shane Douglas, who will be involved in the Hardcore Championship picture. Just Incredible, of course, will be involved in the Hardcore Championship. And, of course, Bam Bam Bigelow is designed for the Hardcore Championship. So, got all those guys down there. There are quite a few other hardcore wrestlers we have got in this universe mode. So, we will be uploading the Hardcore Championship tournament pretty soon as well, which will be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. And, of course, British Bulldog is going to work the Attitude Era alongside Bret Hart as well. Both those guys part of the Hart Foundation stable down in the retro roster, but I thought we could use them both in here. I think Bulldog was in the WWE up until about 98, 99 if I'm correct. And of course Bret Hart was working in WCW in the Attitude Era as well, so that's why we've got both of those guys. Plus it does give us a much bigger and more in-depth roster. Of course Bulldog gives me working the European Championship tournament. Going to try and have as many Europeans in there as possible. Of course there's not that many. I think there's only Bulldog, Regal and Finlay, maybe, I think, in this roster. So we'll have all three of those guys in the European Championship, alongside Eddie Guerrero, who did hold the European Championship for quite a while. There'll also be guys like D'Lo Brown. So it's going to be a pretty good tournament, that as well. That's going to be, hopefully, uploaded. That'll be the next video uploaded. I don't know how long it'll be. Of course, it takes quite a long time this year to upload these videos. And I'm also uploading my Fallout 4 game as well at the same time. I'm up to episode number 3 or 4 on the Fallout 4 game now. I've got 10 recorded already, so I should be ploughing them on as soon as I can. But I say I've got the rest of this week off. I should be out and about a little bit on tomorrow, but hopefully I'm going to try and get a lot of these episodes recorded. I want to try and get Attitude finished by the end of play tomorrow. And then, yeah, it's going to be a bit more difficult than I thought. I think if I can get Attitude finished by end of play tomorrow, and I can get Ring of Honor and Global Force done as well by, I'm going to say by the end of the week or by Saturday at the latest, then it means next week we can start uploading our weekly episodes, which will be pretty good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that now. We've done all these championship tournaments. We've been building it up. We've had some really interesting choices for champions. And now we really just want to get into these matches and start to see our rivalries develop and see how the cutscenes work and stuff like that. We have had the patch released by 2K now, which allows us to create our own championship matches in the universe mode. So that's going to be a pretty important thing for us to do. I'm really happy about that, actually. That's really helped us out. So yeah, I'm hoping that's what I'm going to say. I did sort of half promise that we'd get all one weekly show uploaded by the end of Sunday as well. I just don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if we're going to have enough time, because I didn't realise when I said that how long these championship tournaments take to record and edit and upload. So like I say, I think next week we will start uploading the normal weekly shows. Of course, that's going to be it's going to be the current day roster on a Monday. It's going to be Global Force on a Tuesday, NXT on a Wednesday, Ring of Honor on a Thursday, Attitude Era on a Friday, then the retro roster on a Saturday, and then we'll have our very first pay-per-view on the Sunday. Of course, the pay-per-view on Sunday, I have already announced, is going to be Mystery Vortex. That's going to be Ring of Honor. Of course, it's a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla format pay-per-view, but we're going to have it as Ring of Honor. And essentially what it is we're not going to say any of the matches beforehand. Basically, we're going to find out what the matches are as the guys make an entrance into the ring. And I'm not going to book the card myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that obviously the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship will be defended in our main event. The Ring of Honor Television Championship and the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships will all be defended as well. And maybe even might sneak in one of the Global Force Wrestling Championships to be defended. Who knows? We'll have to decide that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of the match types in a hat. So we'll say this is the Ring of Honor Championship match. I'll put all the match types in a hat. We could get anything. We could get an Armageddon Hell in a Cell match. And if we do that, then I'll pick 5 random names out of a hat as well. And they will be the 5 competitors for the championship. So that's essentially what we're going to do in Mystery Vortex. It's going to be a completely random pay-per-view. I think that's a great one to start off with, mainly because it doesn't take a lot of build-up for the pay-per-view, really. Essentially, we can just do that pay-per-view on the fly. Since it's going to be our first week, we're only going to have 1 week's worth of Ring of Honor to build up to. So that's why we're just going to do that one to start things off. As Bulldog taking DDP up, and there is the running power slam. That's his big finisher maneuver. Is that going to be enough to finish Diamond Dallas Page off here in the Intercontinental Championship Tournament? 1, 2, and 3 it is. Diamond Dallas Page is eliminated, and the British Bulldog is going on to face Christian later on for the Intercontinental Championship. And I didn't really commentate on this match. I was talking absolute nonsense the whole way through, so I'm hoping that didn't bother you too much. As we see some of the highlights of Bulldog look to try and get a bit of advantage using that ring post, but DDP fought his way away from him. Bulldog back in the ring. Oh, we're not going to see what that was. Going to see a pin though. Not going to see what led up to the pin, but we got a pin. That was so close to a free count anyway. And you see Bulldog here just stalking Diamond Dallas Page. Up on the shoulder he goes. And there is that running power slam. So a great win here for the British Bulldog. He is going through to face Christian in the first of our semi-finals. And 2 of my strongest competitors I had that position have been knocked out already. That is Jericho, sorry, and Diamond Dallas Page. Of course, our 4th first round match is going to be a big one as well. Eddie Guerrero and RVD, 2 very strong competitors once again. And of course, our next match is going to be pretty strong as well. That's obviously Regal and Faarooq. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to have a brand new Intercontinental Champion as well. Of course, none of these guys held the belt in my 2K15 universe mode. So we're looking for a completely new start on every single championship at the moment. And here we go with the 3rd of our first round matches. It's going to be William Regal taking on Faarooq. I think this is the first time I've used both of these guys in this universe mode. Well, both of these guys at all on this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they both act in the ring. Obviously, Faarooq is going to be the Nation of Domination Faarooq. The first time we're going to see him. And we're going to use William Regal. We've used Lord Steven Regal before. Of course, we saw him in the retro roster. That's where he's going to be now. And William Regal is going to be part of our Attitude Era. Not only part of the Intercontinental Championship picture, but of course, like I said, he will be involved in the European Championship as well. Faarooq, not quite sure what to do with Faarooq. I didn't start watching wrestling until after the Nation of Domination had sort of disappeared, so not quite sure what we're going to do with him. I've got a feeling that The Rock, I think The Rock is going to be our championship, WWE Championship person. Faarooq, I think, is going to be more the Intercontinental Championship level. And then I think Kama Mustafa and D'Lo Brown are going to be our tag team people, plus D'Lo Brown, I think, also fighting for the European Championship as well. So I think that's sort of the level that they're all at the moment. Of course, Regal is going to be in a tag team alongside Fit Finlay as the British Bruisers. I'm not quite sure if we'll keep that together or whether we might split them up, because they're both going to be involved in the European Championship. Like I say, I want to try and keep the European champion European for as long as possible. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be possible with the tournament. Depends on one of those guys winning it, I suppose. Fit Finlay, I think, will also be involved in the Hardcore Championship picture as well. And I said in one of my other videos, it's a shame they seem to have taken the backstage brawls out of the game, and that is a bit of a shame, because it would have been great for us to use for our Hardcore Championship 24/7 rule. So basically, we could have just like randomly put a backstage brawl in the middle of the shows as basically somebody challenging for the Hardcore Championship. So that's a bit of a disappointment that that's gone. I don't know. They did say they were going to bring as many match types back in as possible, but I don't know why Backstage Brawl is missing, because it's such a simple little concept. All you've got to do is change the background, so I don't know why 2K have taken that out of the game. That's a little bit annoying. Russian leg sweep there by William Regal on Faarooq. Now bringing Faarooq back up to his feet, but there's the rake to the eyes by Faarooq. Now sending Regal into this corner. Now Regal, again, is somebody who, he's had a big stat boost this year. I think they've got him up at an 87. I think he's actually rated higher than Faarooq on this game. So I think he's probably down as one of the favourites for this tournament. But I think at the moment I'm starting to think that the winner of this quarter tournament is going to come from our last match here this evening. That, of course, is Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam. Both those guys are going to be involved in other championship tournaments as well. I think Guerrero is going to be pretty heavily used this year. I've got some few interesting people to have in our Cruiserweight Championship tournament as well. We've got guys like Rey Mysterio. I also downloaded yesterday La Parka. I used to love La Parka when he was in WCW, so that's going to be interesting. Also got guys like Paul London and Brian Kendrick as well. They're going to be heavily used, those two, because they are going to be involved in Ring of Honor. They're going to be in Global Force Wrestling. They're going to be in NXT as well at some point. and of course down here in the Attitude Era. So those two are pretty good. That's the main reason I download them, is because we can use them on many different rosters at the same time. Regal now, he looks like he's going to go for a Regal Plex, hooking that leg, and there it is, the backdrop with a leg hooked. Didn't want to bridge in for the pin, but he's going to go for the pin now. Is that few seconds going to cost him the match? It is. Faarooq manages to kick out. Regal can't believe it, but he looks to continue the assault now. Big punch to the side of the head of Faarooq. Went for the flip over the top and actually went right over the top. Completely missed Faarooq. So that was a bit stupid of him. But there you go. Faarooq with that back elbow. Big knee to the face there by William Regal. Could that be all? 1, 2. And it is. William Regal eliminates Faarooq from this tournament in the very first round. Regal is going on to face the winner of our next match, and that's going to be an incredible match. That semi-final, that's going to be, no matter who wins our last match, that semi-final is going to be very, very good. As I just jot down on my piece of paper who won this one. As we see some of the highlights, of course it was a Regal Plex that did most of the damage, but then Regal, that big running knee to the face, looked to knock Faarooq unconscious. There it is. Huge move that was. And Faarooq is down and out. Now, that's not very good for the nation. They were hoping to pick up quite a few bits of gold in these tournaments, and they're not doing too well so far. Of course, there are still opportunities. D'Lo Brown will be... I don't know if D'Lo Brown would count as a cruiserweight as well. We'll have to have a look and see what the game's got him down as. But I don't know. I have a feeling that D'Lo Brown could be a cruiserweight. I'm sure Christian was a cruiserweight as well at some point in the Attitude Era. Yeah, we'll have to have a look at that. And here we are with the final of our first round matches. This is going to be Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam for a place in the semi-final to face off against William Regal. And here we go. Eddie Guerrero versus Rob Van Dam. Two of the strongest people in this competition, I think. Of course, the winner of this one's going to have to go on and face William Regal for a place in the final. Like I said, both these guys will be used in several other of the championships as well. I think Guerrero will definitely be involved in the European Championship and Cruiserweight Championship. RVD, definitely in the Hardcore Championship. Not quite sure if we're going to have him as a tag team with Sabu as well. I think our tag team division is quite strong in the Attitude Era anyway. I have got a tag team actually with Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko. They are going to be the Radicals, and of course Dean Malenko will be involved in the Cruiserweight Championship division as well. That's going to be really good. I could not have Dean Malenko. He is one of the best technical wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers. I think he's really underrated. Big pile driver there by Eddie Guerrero early on. I'm really confused myself because I just had a pair of headphones in there just to check the sound was working correctly. And I just kept hearing my own voice. For some reason, when you record, it records like 2 or 3 seconds afterwards. So all I can hear is my own voice coming back in my ear. So that's why I kept pausing in between every sentence. RVD now with a neck breaker. And this is the battle of the frog splashes, really. And yeah, like I say, we're going to have a very interesting champion here. We are just, with all of the tournaments so far, we seem to be going away from all of the champions we had last year, which is pretty good. I wanted to have something a bit different to what we had last year. I didn't want to have the same people over and over again. It was going to get a bit boring with the same champions, so I'm pretty sure we've got nearly brand new champions in almost everything at the moment. And this Intercontinental Championship is going to be no different. I don't think any of these guys held the belt in our 2K15 universe, so that's going to be pretty good. Of course, we're going to have the European Championship, which we didn't bring in until quite late in 2K15, so we only had 1 or 2 people hold that belt. And one of them was Sheamus, and he's not going to be in the Attitude Era at all this year. I think the other ones were Kane and Mark Henry, I believe. I don't know why. I think those two just won. I think Mark Henry may have won. No, it was Mark Henry won the European Championship tournament. That's what it was. And then, and then I think Sheamus defeated him to win the belt. So it was a little bit of an interesting one. I think it's going to be a bit more involved this year. We're going to have a lot more champions. There's a much bigger roster, so there's a lot more people we can get involved. Like Eddie Guerrero, who did hold the Cruiserweight Championship for quite a while. I think Kurt Angle actually held the Cruiserweight Championship for a bit as well. And Kurt Angle is someone that I've missed off of our Championship tournaments. I've just realised I do have Kurt Angle on this game, but he was not involved in either the WWF Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. So we will be involving Kurt Angle into the title picture pretty soon. Maybe to say sorry to Kurt, we can let him have a championship match at the very first pay-per-view. That's something we can definitely think about. Or maybe we can just have him fight for the number one contendership on our first episode of Monday night. Well, it's going to be Friday Night Raw is War, isn't it, on the Attitude Era? Because we are going to upload our Attitude Era episodes on a Friday. RVD now with a snapmare on Eddie Guerrero. And follows it up with that kick to the back. But Eddie doesn't seem too affected by that. He's back up to his feet and now catches RVD straight away and takes him over in a suplex, rolling the hips. Oh, and here we go, the second suplex. And Eddie Guerrero is someone I'm surprised they don't have in the game normally, because he is a real legend of wrestling. He had been wrestling for almost 30 years before he sadly passed away. And I really think it's someone that, although he's not involved in the showcase mode, I really think it's someone that they should have had on the game as a legend, really. Big belly-to-belly suplex there by Eddie Guerrero. Now Eddie's going up onto the top rope. Could he be the first one looking for his frog splash? He does a big frog splash on RVD, and could this be all? 1, 2... No, it's not. Rob Van Dam kicks out. It was probably pretty early in the match to be going for a frog splash, don't get me wrong. But you'd think that that could have kept RVD down. Obviously not this time. RVD taking Guerrero up onto that corner. What has RVD got planned here? He's going up there same as well. German suplex off the top, and RVD stays up there. Is he going to go for a 5-star frog splash? He does. There's a big 5-star frog splash. 1, 2. Oh, come on, ref. Your hand hit the mat 3 times again there. I'm sure it did. That's twice that's happened here this evening. RVD almost had the match won right there. Of course, my favourite for this competition is already out, Chris Jericho. So, like I say, I'm thinking it's going to be one of these two. That's the Spanish Fly, I believe that's called. RVD over the top rope. What's he going to go for? He's back up onto the top again. Is he looking for a second 5-star? No, he goes for a big splash instead. Damage could still be done, though. Slamming the arm of Eddie Guerrero into the mat. Now bringing Eddie back up to his feet. RVD sending Eddie into that corner. Oh, Eddie fights out well with that back elbow. Now Guerrero going to the top rope. I think he doesn't realise. Yeah, now he notices that RVD is still up on his feet. I thought Eddie was going to the top rope. I don't think he realised that RVD was still up on his feet. RVD now slamming Eddie shoulder first into that ring post. And RVD is also somebody that at a stretch we could involve in the championship picture. He was, of course, involved in the title picture at some point in the mid-2000s, I believe. I sort of stopped watching the wrestling for a while. Saying that, I've sort of stopped watching it now. I've not really watched an episode of Raw. I didn't even watch Hell in a Cell or anything like that as yet. I will be watching the next, obviously, Survivor Series, but I've not really watched a lot of wrestling recently. That's because I've been too busy recording all these videos, I think. Great sunset flip bomb there by RVD. Taking a few extra seconds. He probably should go for the pin again. Dropping to a knee. Looks like RVD's actually wearing himself out in this match. Now he goes to the pin after slamming Guerrero's arm into the mat. Is this going to be enough damage done by RVD? And it is. Guerrero's out. RVD goes on to our second round. And that's big, that is. Big victory for RVD. Guerrero had his chances. There he is with the trifecta of suplexes, rolling his hips through. And there is the third. Both these guys managed to hit a big frog splash as well. Guerrero with the pin. But of course it was not enough. It was only a 2 count that. You see some more of the highlights. This was that belly-to-belly suplex by Eddie Guerrero. What a great move that was. And you see him going up to the top rope, and this is going to be his frog splash. There it is. I've said before, I'd love to be able to watch the match from this angle, because it's almost like you're sat in the crowd. As is this as well. It's really good. Of course, we've only got the set camera angle. This was RVD's frog splash. There he is with that German suplex off the top rope, and it was a bit of a stubby frog splash. Normally he likes to travel further across the ring, but it was enough for him to do what he needed to do. But again, it was only for a 2 count. And there's that sunset flip bomb. That's what finished Eddie Guerrero off this evening. Of course, he took a bit longer to pin than he probably should have done. Struggling with energy. That's going to be something that William Regal can really focus on later on. RVD in with a pin. It was enough for the 3 count. The damage had already been done. I think slamming Eddie's hand against the mat was just insult to injury. So RVD is going on to face off against William Regal in our semi-final here this evening to become our first Intercontinental Champion in our Attitude Era Universe mode. Can he do it? And before we go on any further, let's have a quick look at the brackets. We're going to have Christian versus the British Bulldog for you, and then William Regal versus Rob Van Dam. And here we go with our first semi-final. Like I said, it's going to be Christian versus the British Bulldog. And here we go. So Christian knocked off Chris Jericho in the very first round, but I can't imagine Christian's going to be in very good condition because he did get caught with a Lion Soul and 2 Walls of Jericho in that opening match. So, yeah, like I said, I can't imagine he's going to be in the best condition of his career. British Bulldog did a bit better. I think he got quite an easy win over DDP, so I would probably put my money on Bulldog to win this match. Like I said, I think he's just in a much better condition at the moment, but Christian could prove me wrong as he takes Bulldog up to the top rope, and as Christian got planned here. Frankenstein, a great move there by Christian. And he's going to go straight in for a pin on Bulldog. 1, 2. Oh, it's only a 2 count. Bulldog kicks out. And of course, like I said, Bulldog will be involved in our European Championship tournament alongside William Regal, who's also a semi-finalist here this evening. That will probably be our next... Well, no, I say probably. That will be our next championship tournament uploaded here this evening. Going to try and probably get 2, maybe 3 uploaded today alongside my Fallout 4 videos as well, which I'm uploading at the same time. It's just getting them uploaded really because they take... Well, these videos take about 3 or 4 hours to upload, and the Fallout 4s take about 3 hours to upload. So at the moment... yeah, it's pretty tricky. I'm losing a lot of time. I've got a lot more videos recorded now than what I can physically upload, which is I think is going to be the key for this week. Really, I'm off all this week. So it's Wednesday now. So I've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and of course the rest of today to get as much record as I possibly can. And then at least I've got a backlog, so when I go back to work, I can just keep uploading more and more videos for you guys. Christian there just wrenching the leg of the British Bulldog back there. Now bringing him back up to his feet. Christian with a backbreaker as well. And I sort of said that Bulldog would win this match, but now the way that Christian started, it could very much be Christian. Christian dominating Bulldog so far and looking to try and finish this one as quickly as possible. And that's going to be the key for Christian. After taking a lot of damage against Jericho, he's going to need to finish this match off as soon as he possibly can. Just so he doesn't incur any more damage going into the final. But of course, Bulldog, you cannot write him off. Bulldog, like I said earlier, is going to be involved in the retro roster alongside this as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the British Bulldog. And that is mainly because he's British and I'm British and I really like the British Bulldog, as everyone does. Somebody who really should have been involved in the championship picture a bit more. And maybe that's something we can do in our universe mode. Get him involved in our Attitude Era Championship or maybe even the retro roster championship. I think the Attitude Era Championship is going to be a bit more realistic since there's going to be 2 big championships here. And there's only the 1 big championship in the retro roster. So maybe this is going to be his better chance. Maybe going for the WWE Championship or maybe the World Heavyweight Championship. Only time will tell, but I think at the moment, obviously at the moment he's involved in the Intercontinental and the European Championship tournament. So I'm pretty sure he's going to do pretty well in at least one of those, the way this is going. But he has been busted open by Christian. I'm not quite sure how you get busted open from a reverse DDT, but he was. A Bulldog just pressing his foot against the chest of Christian, but Christian fighting his way out and slamming Bulldog face first into that mat. Christian stalking. Bulldog spins him round. And there's the Unprettier. That's what took Jericho out as Christian knocked out Bulldog as well. 1, 2. He has. Christian knocks out the British Bulldog, and he's going on to our final to become the Intercontinental Champion here this evening. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. I had my money on Bulldog in this one just because the amount of damage Christian took in the first round. But Christian still had enough left in his locker to defeat the British Bulldog. And of course, like I said, we will see the Bulldog again in our very next tournament for the European Championship. And there's that just move there, just wrenching the leg of Bulldog back there, and then straight into the backbreaker as well. And Christian did dominate this match, I have to say. Like I said, he needed to get this one won as quickly as humanly possible, just so obviously he had enough energy going into that final. He's got a big match in the final. He's going to be facing either William Regal or RVD, so it's not going to be easy. If he wins the Intercontinental Championship, he's really going to have deserved it, defeating Jericho and Bulldog in the first night already. There's Bulldog with a pin of his own. Of course, Christian was so close to being free counted there once again. And like I say, in the very first match, I'm sure Christian was held down for free count. The referee's hand hit the mat 3 times, but it wasn't given. And maybe that's something we can do. Maybe that's something we could do for our first pay-per-view. As a feud, maybe, between Christian and Jericho. So it'll depend on it. If Christian wins the Intercontinental Championship, I think that's definitely something we could do. Christian versus Jericho at our very first pay-per-view for the Intercontinental Championship, all based on that first match where I'm sure the referee's hand hit the mat 3 times before Christian kicked out. And here we go with the second of our semi-finals. Who will be going on to face Christian? Will it be William Regal or will it be Rob Van Dam? We find out next. And here we go. Of course, Regal defeated Faarooq with not much resistance, I must admit. And RVD defeated Eddie Guerrero. That was a bit more difficult for him, but it wasn't overly difficult, I don't think. He did get caught with Eddie Guerrero's frog splash. So both these guys are probably bringing a tiny bit of injury into this second round match. This is going to be quite an even one, I think. I'm going to sort of put my money on RVD at the moment, though. I think he's probably got more of a chance of winning this one. Which probably means that we'll see Regal versus Christian in the final, judging based on my guesses on this game, because they never seem to come out correct. RVD's sending Regal, and there's a big super kick by RVD, and maybe I might be right on this occasion. RVD, big super kick on Regal. I've got a feeling the game just picks who it wants to win at the very beginning of the competition and just builds the competition around it, I think. It seems to be that way because somebody always seems to pick up a head of steam in the first round and take it the whole way through. Just like Christian. For Christian to beat both Chris Jericho and the British Bulldog. I put Christian in just to make up the numbers, to tell the honest truth. And that's what probably happens a lot of time in these tournaments. I put somebody in to make up the numbers. Not that Christian's a bad wrestler, but Intercontinental Championship is probably a little bit above his level, especially with the other guys on this roster. But he's proved me wrong here this evening. It's RVD controlling this match at the moment, but Regal back up to his feet, and RVD went for a Hurricanrana and Regal reversed it into a powerbomb. And maybe this is a chance for Regal to take some control in this match now. Just slowing the pace down, just twisting the head of RVD. And like I said, we will see Regal again in our very next championship tournament for the European Championship. So there's a chance that Regal could become a double champion in the Universe mode. We haven't had any as yet, but Regal could be our first, especially now as he locks in the Regal Plex. Bridge and the pin. 2. That is it. William Regal eliminates RVD, and we have got Regal versus Christian in our main event here this evening for the Intercontinental Championship. And that's exactly what I just said. I put my money on RVD to win this one, and Regal turns around, hits the Regal Plex, and gets the free count. That's just what my bets are like on this game. I never get anything right, I really don't. William Regal victorious. He's going to get a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back for Regal versus Christian for the Intercontinental Championship. Who is going to be our first Intercontinental Champion moving into the Universe mode? We're going to find out next. And here we go. Here it is, the Intercontinental Championship match. Christian versus William Regal. Who's going to be our first championship holder for our Attitude Era roster in our 2K16 Universe mode? So, this is our third highest championship belt in the universe. As like I promised earlier on as well, since it's a championship match, we are going to have the entrances and all of that shebang as well. Here comes Christian, of course, defeated Jericho and the British Bulldog to make it here. And this could be a fantastic night for Christian. There he is saying that this is the night that he becomes the Intercontinental Champion. Is that going to be the case? We'll have to find out. Definitely shown so far that he can handle the pressure, and he can fight against some of the biggest names in this roster. So there's no reason why he couldn't defeat Regal here. But of course, I think Regal may have had an easier way through. He defeated Faarooq fairly easily, and he defeated RVD without much problem as well. Of course, Christian had a difficult time against Jericho, was caught with a lion's salt and was locked into the walls of Jericho twice. Probably had a bit of an easier game against the British Bulldog though, so he's not coming in with too much damage. But like I said, I think Regal's just coming into this match with a little bit better prepared, should I say. But maybe that might actually end up being worse for Regal. Christian could be feeding off of his lack of energy and his injuries here. Could be feeding off that on just based purely on adrenaline. It would be great to see actually Christian as the Intercontinental Champion. I'm not going to say why, but some of you guys who have seen my other videos might know why. It would just link up really well. I don't want to give any spoilers away, just in case you haven't watched the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. I've given a spoiler away now already, haven't I? That wasn't meant to be a spoiler, but yeah, in case you haven't watched that video, there is a very good reason why having Christian as the Intercontinental Champion would work. I sort of want Christian to win. I don't want to come across biased, but I sort of want Christian to win because I know Regal's going to be involved in the European Championship as well, and I don't really like people being double champions. I'm not over keen on it because I like to keep them separated. Then we can have our championship matches whenever we really want. If we have someone who, say, holds the Intercontinental Championship and the European Championship, then that's going to become a bit more awkward because we can't really defend both championships on the same night unless we get the guy to wrestle twice in one night. So that's sort of like my thinking behind that. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's what I've always thought anyway. It's doable, especially in a roster here where we've got 7 championships on the go at the same time. It's definitely doable to have something like that. Have I just buggered that up? Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. And there goes the bell. This match is underway. Christian versus Regal, who is going to become our first Intercontinental Champion. It's going to be very interesting to find out on this one. Like I said, I'm leaning towards hoping Christian wins. My heart says Christian, but my head says Regal, to tell the honest truth. It's just, I think Regal's taken a lot less damage so far here this evening. Christian, though, after 2 big victories, might be on a bit of a roll, and he might find it, or Regal might find it a bit difficult to keep Christian down, to tell the honest truth. And as we can see here, Christian taking Regal into that corner. And there's the Tornado DDT by Christian on Regal. Straight into the pin he goes. 1, 2. Referee spanking Christian at the same time as going for the pin there. Poor placement of the referee's hand, I think. Christian back up to his feet. Christian sending Regal into that corner. Big boot to the stomach of Regal. And Christian looks to be taking control of this match early on. I didn't really give him much of a chance. And there's the Northern Light suplex by Regal out of nowhere. In for the bridge and pin 2. Oh, he nearly stole it. He nearly got it there. But Christian kicks out on the brink of 3. Regal slamming Christian down headfirst into the mat. And there's a big boot to the head of Regal as well. Christian throwing Regal into the corner. Now Christian taking Regal up onto the corner. We saw him hit a Frankensteiner on Bulldog earlier. Is he looking for the same thing here? It looks like he is. Frankensteiner by Christian on Regal. And that's a high impact move that could just win you the Intercontinental Championship. 1, 2. Oh, so close to a 3 count. Christian nearly had it there, but Regal kicks out. And this has been another fantastic tournament here in the Attitude Era. Regal now, oh, Christian manages to roll out, but Regal spins Christian round, and oh, I thought he was going to go for a Regalplex there, but instead he goes for the Saito suplex. And now an elbow drop across the chest of Christian. Regal really starting to dominate this match at points now. And here he is. Hooks the leg. Regalplex, bridge and the pin. 1, 2, and 3. And ladies and gentlemen, William Regal is your first Intercontinental Champion in this Attitude Era. What a fantastic Intercontinental Champion he's going to be. Well, words are not working there. Intercontinental Champion he's going to be. He really is one of the most underrated wrestlers in history, I think, alongside the British Bulldog earlier, like I said. And there was another one I mentioned as well, I'm sure there was. Yeah, but both of those guys are really underrated. And great to see we've finally managed to get William Regal the championship he deserves. Like I said, I was hoping Christian would win, just because I didn't want a double champion in William Regal, but if it happens, it happens. We're going to have 7 championships on the go anyway, so the chances of having every championship defended on one night is not that realistic anyway, so it's not going to be a major issue if Regal picks up the European Championship as well. And that is, like I said, going to be our next tournament uploaded, European Championship. That's going to be a great one. Got some great names in that one as well, some different names to this one. I think the only person, there's 2 people, I think it's Bulldog and Regal. They're the only people that are working both of the tournaments. And actually Guerrero as well is going to be working both of the tournaments. But that is going to be our next one uploaded. Be sure to keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we're going to have another fantastic champion. Regal's great because it's a brand new champion again. Someone we didn't have in our 2K15 Universe mode as a champion. And he really deserves it. Like I said, Intercontinental Championship. Let's see how long he can hold the belt for. It's not going to be an easy one. There's a lot of very talented people in our Attitude Era roster, and the line will be there waiting for a championship shot against William Regal. As I'm not sure how long I can talk before it cuts me off. This will be it now. Your champion, William Regal. And there we go, yeah. For some point, when you do a tournament, for some reason, when you get to the very last match, it doesn't allow you to exit the celebration yourself. It just automatically takes you back to the brackets. So that's why I was trying not to speak too much, that we had to put the loading screen into this video. But there you go, there's just confirmation that Regal defeated Faarooq, Rob Van Dam, and then Christian to become your first Intercontinental Champion for this 2K16 Universe Mode Attitude Era roster. Now, of course, if you have liked this video, then be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And, of course, hit that thumbs up button for William Regal being the Intercontinental Champion as well. That's just absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing how that works in our Universe Mode. And if you're not already, then be sure to subscribe, because we are going to be uploading more daily WWE 2K16 footage alongside some of the other things that I'm doing. At the moment, I'm doing Fallout 4 since that was just released yesterday. So I'm uploading quite a lot of that at the moment. And I will be branched off and doing some other little bits and bobs in the future as well. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon in the European Championship Tournament.